Okay. Alrighty. So I guess basically just wanted to tell a little bit about what we're going to be doing over the course of these workshops. We're starting next Wednesday, and we'll be meeting Wednesdays and Fridays. Wednesdays 4 to 6, Fridays 4 to 5:30. So in the past, in this particular shop, we have run mostly Lego robotics classes. We do have had one VEX IQ kit in the past, which different kids have used, but we've mostly been running classes using Lego robots, but that's actually changing this time. We're going to start using VEX IQ kits. So let me share my screen here, and I'll show you what those are. Oops. Okay, it looks like it's closed that window. Just a second. It's put this thing in the way. I can't open up a window. Let me try it over here. Go away. I don't know how to open up a new tab if I can't get to this. There we go, Control T. All right, so VEX Robotics. So VEX is a company that creates robot kits, and they have two different types of kits. They have some that are, well, they actually have three. They have some that are appropriate for high school, college, and even professional roboticists. And those are just generally parts that people would be building larger types of robots. So that's their VEX Pro line. They also have what's called VEX EDR. And VEX EDR is built for middle school and high school. Started out as a high school program, but that now it's actually moved down a little bit, and some middle schools, usually 7th or 8th graders, do VEX EDR. And those are the kind of robots that you see. They're about 18 inches by 18 inches, and they usually play on a field that's 12 feet by 12 feet. When we have a spring robot expo over at Mineral Area College every year, and at that event we have a VEX EDR competition, a very large VEX EDR competition. And then they have this new, relatively new, it's a couple of years old, set of robots called VEX IQ. And that's this kind of thing, and it's similar to the Lego robots. So they are parts that snap together. They do have a remote control, and they also have the capability to program autonomously. So what we're going to be doing is working with these kinds of robots, and we will both be using them with remote control and also programming them to be autonomous. And the kind of software that we're going to be using is called Robot C. So let me find my windows are covering things up. Here we go. So this is what Robot C looks like. And actually, there are actually several, do I still have my, yeah, I still have my screen shared. This is the graphical version of Robot C. So basically how it's used is you have several different menus on the left-hand side, and these have all the different commands and blocks that you can use to program your robot. So it becomes a matter of taking, let's say I want my robot to go forward. I come over here to this simple behavior area, and I drag that block out to the, this list of commands. And then each of those commands has various parameters that you can use to change how what the specific behavior is going to be. So in this case, I can say, let's go forward a certain number of seconds. So we're going to go forward for, let's say, 3 seconds. So I pull out my forward block, I change this to seconds, and I put in 3 seconds. And then when I run my this code by downloading it, I compile it, and then I download it to the robot, and then the robot will actually run it and do those commands. So a lot of what this course is going to be about is, oops, hold on, my computer is starting to scan. Let me postpone this. A lot of what this particular course is going to be about is about learning this language. And we'll be working in pairs, so the kids will each be in pairs, and they'll have a robot in between for each pair, and they'll be learning how to program and then running the robot on the field. And robotics is awesome because programs never work the first time you create them. And so kids it can be a little bit frustrating, but mostly kids, they love doing it, and they're very motivated to get that robot to do what they want. And so it's a really great way to develop persistence and to realize that you know, failure is not the enemy. We are going to make lots of mistakes, and the robot's going to have problems, but you work through it. And so that's one great thing about robotics. Let me see. The other thing that we're going to be using, so the VEX IQ, the VEX Robotics website is vexrobotics.com, and you know, it's worthwhile taking a look at that if you're interested. You don't have to, but it's interesting. VEX, there is a company or a foundation that's affiliated with VEX called the Robotics Education Competition Foundation, and that's the group that helps manage tournaments all across the country. So just like we do a VEX EDR competition in the spring, we're considered an event partner. So we are the person the group that puts on this event in the spring. Well, VEX IQ is, this will be the second year that there have been VEX IQ competitions in Missouri. So VEX IQ is quite popular all around the country, but this is it's just really brand new to Missouri. So we're sort of on the forefront of doing that, and I'm sure we will have a competition in our local area at some point. But this year, we are going to attend a competition, and it'll be in St. Louis on October 18th. Saturday, October 18th, yeah. Okay, so that's VEX IQ. If you're interested, we'll be talking about this in the class, but just if you're interested ahead of time, if you want to look at what the VEX IQ challenge is for this year. Actually, I don't think I clicked on the right thing. There it is, VEX IQ challenge game. So there's videos on here. Again, we'll be looking at this in the class. This is what the field looks like. These robots are fairly small. You know, they're about like this. That field is about 3.5 feet by 7 feet or so. I'm not exactly sure, but basically it's picking up this year's game, and the game changes every year. This year's game is picking up rings and placing them in different places on the field to score points. So that's VEX IQ. And then I wanted to show you some of the curriculum that we're going to be using. So you've seen the software that we'll be using that we write programs in, but we're also going to be using a curriculum from Carnegie Mellon, and let me find it. I haven't logged in on this computer yet. So Carnegie Mellon is a top robotics university, and they have a robotics academy, and they have been doing robotics software and robots for young kids for many, many, many years. And they have some really excellent curriculum. So actually I'm going to send out a little survey to everybody who's registered for the class and ask that they create a user ID and password, an account on this website. And I'd like them to do that before the class, and then to send me the username and password. And that's just because the only reason I want the username and password is just in case you know, the kids forget them, and then we spend a lot of time trying to track that down. So to eliminate that problem, I just have everybody send me their username and password just for this, this website. So what this is a real, they have a really terrific little, let me go ahead and sign in. Maybe it'll tell me, maybe I can see it. Yeah, let me sign in. So they have a terrific curriculum, and we're gonna be looking at one called Introduction to Programming VEX IQ. So once you start utilizing that, and we'll do that in class, it's basically a curriculum that works through the very basics of VEX IQ, and then it gets more and more and more advanced. And it's a really neat way to just make sure that you're learning in a great, I guess, you're staying on track. It's a good, they start with the basics and then they just kind of go from there, and it gets more and more advanced. But it's really, really well done. And it's based, let's see if I click on one of these. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it. Videos sometimes don't play very well through Zoom. But anyway, it's basically a series of videos that talk about the robot and talk about programming, and then different challenges, and that we'll work through some of the videos together in a group. Some of the older kids will probably advance, well, will definitely advance through this quicker than the younger kids. But and then we'll all go and work on the fields, actually running the robots on the fields. Let's see, what else do I want to show you about this? I don't think anything. And actually, kids, if they are interested, I will show you one other thing. There's a really neat piece of software that also, it's the Carnegie Mellon people again who have, hold on, I can't talk and type at the same time. It's called Robot Virtual Worlds. And again, it's the Carnegie Mellon people who've created it. And it's basically a robot simulator. So if you're at home and you want to work on some code, and you want to practice or create some code for a robot to do something, maybe you want to bring it back next time to the shop and see how it works, you can actually log into this Robot Virtual Worlds and download a piece of software, and it lets you run your code on this virtual robot. So we'll be using this as well. We're just going to use the free version of it. I think there's a 10-day trial period, so we're going to use that, and if we go past the 10 days, we'll download it again. It's not something extra that we're going to buy, but it's a really neat piece of code, and it's a way for kids to, if they have time, some kids, they're going to come to the shop. That's the only time they're going to be working on robots or interested in working on robots, is when they're here and doing it, and that's great. Other kids, if they could be here every day, they would, and maybe this is something, if they've got internet at home or even at the library, it might be able to go and work on it there. All right, so I know, Joan, you're already figured out where this sign up is, but if anybody else who's watching this later hasn't seen it, our website is www.labrevo.org, and it will take you to this Wix site. It'll say in the URL, but you click on news and events and click on event registration, and then that'll bring you to this page. And here you're just going to fill out some basic information, name of the child and age and some other information. And then if you want to pay online, you can do that here with this PayPal login here. You do not have to have a PayPal account. You can pay with a credit card. Non-4-H members, it's $100 for the workshops, and for 4-H members, it's $75. So for the non-4-H members, we do require that people who are doing things on a regular basis at our space become 4-H members. And partly there's a lot of great advantages to being a 4-H member, but it also ensures that we have insurance and that everything. And we also ensure that the volunteers that we're using in the shop are registered 4-H volunteers that have had background checks and everything. So let's see. What else do I need to tell you about the project? Let me zoom back over here. Let's stop sharing my screen here. Joan, are there any questions that you have in particular? Oh, let me say one thing. So I mentioned that we have the expo in the spring. We would also encourage you to get involved and to help volunteer for that expo. So that the way we're basically a 4-H family community run makerspace for youth. So a makerspace is basically a place where people can come and they share time and talents and their expertise and help people learn about things. So we're all volunteer. I'm a volunteer. Kids here like to do robotics, electronics, programming. We do lots of fun things. So if you would like to get involved in the shop in general, besides just the workshops, you're certainly welcome. Right now, we're just running open shop on Fridays from 6 to 8. When we're not doing regular workshops, we usually also have a Sunday afternoon. But right now, we've sort of put a halt on the Sunday afternoon because we're going to be doing these other robot classes right now. So normally, shop is open to any 4-H members, or you can join 4-H just to do this, and then it costs $25 a month for a family. So not per child, but just per family. But when you're doing a workshop like this, that's included. So if you wanted to come outside of the regular robotics classes, if you wanted to come to open shop, you're certainly welcome without any extra charge. So what else? Joan, do you have any questions? I can look at the chat if you've. Yeah, oh, thank you. Where are we? Yes, we're in the factory. We're on the bottom floor. So if you were to park back on the parking lot in the back that's closest to the factory diner, when you go to that door there by the factory diner, if you look to the left, you'll see a set of double doors, white double doors under an awning, and that's our entrance. You can also get in if you walk in the building and then take a left and sort of curve around the hallway. We're there on the left-hand side near the restrooms. So, yeah. I keep forgetting that people haven't been here. Any other questions? What else? I've had a few people calling, and I'm trying to think of what they were asking. Some people were asking if we were going to do this again. I'm sure we will, though after this session, we're going to start getting really busy with planning for the expo. So I'm not sure that we'll do another session like this until later. So we will go to that one competition. That competition, I'll tell you a little bit about that right now. So like I said, IQ is very new in Missouri. I helped out with the last competition. It was a four teams, very relaxed. This competition also is going to be, oh, this is neat. That chat question jumps up on my window. That's neat. Anyway, the competition will be very relaxed. They will have up to 20 teams. I'm not sure that they're really going to have 20 teams. Again, it's going to be very relaxed. This is, as far as I'm concerned, it's most important that kids end up with a positive experience. They're having fun. You know, this is not a high-powered competition team. I mean, we have had great success in competitions before. I mean, the Gadget Girls, which was our middle school team that competed in a different type of competition last 3 years, won great awards and did really well. But they also had been doing it for a while, and I realized that we don't have a lot of time between now and then, but it doesn't matter. We're just going to do our best, and we're going to have fun. My philosophy is on competition is, you know, teams themselves define what their goals are for competition, and you define them to be specific, and they are things that are that you can control. So we can't control what other teams do. We can't control what other judges do, but we can control what we do. If we work hard and we want to have fun and we have certain goals for the robot, we want the robot to be able to do this particular move in this amount of time, and we want to build a robot that can do this other thing. So we have our own goals for our robot, and you know, before the competition even starts, we've achieved those goals and had fun doing it. So that's sort of my philosophy, and it works pretty well. All right, let me look at your. Yes, classes start next week, October 4th. Yes, and you can bring a check at that time. Let me, yes, yeah. You can bring money then. But I do hope that people who are registering and say they're going to do it follow through, because we are ordering some extra robot kits based on those numbers. So if you're still not really sure, just let me know. If you're pretty sure, then that's great. What else? Oh, I guess there's one other thing I could tell you about. So at our expo that we have, like I mentioned, we do the VEX EDR competition for the older kids, middle and high school, some middle schoolers and some high schoolers, but it's with the larger kit, the larger robot style. We also have a competition at that event called RoboFest. And that competition, you can use any kind of robot you want. So it could be VEX IQ or Lego robots. And that'll be that competition will be announced in December. And we'll have some kids here who are going to compete in that. I will be looking for coaches for those teams. I coached a couple of teams last year, but since I'm organizing the event and sort of the main event director, it's really tough for me to coach RoboFest teams. I have to find somebody else who can help them the day of the event. It just really doesn't work very well. So I'm going to be looking for additional coaches. So there may be another opportunity after, after this set of workshops and our competition in November. There'll be other opportunities for competition if kids would like to do that. So, great. Okay, great. All right, Joan. I think that's going to be it, unless there are any other questions. And my phone number is 573-327-2009. Feel free to call, text, email. If I'm available then, I'll talk to you. Otherwise, I'll get back with you. So my email is annboes2007@gmail. All right. Well, I think that's it. Any other questions? Awesome. Yes, well, thank you. I'm excited. I can't remember your two kids. I remember Caleb, but I don't remember your younger son's name. But I'm glad he's going to be taking part. So. All right, everybody. Again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. See you next week. Bye. Yeah.